SOFI update here on the 3rd. So we got the move down that I was expecting, and of course it had to have been some kind of stupid downgrade. Isn't it crazy how that happens right basically after we topped out? All of a sudden they're downgrading us again. But again, you can look at the chart and just see what's going to happen. There was going to be some kind of news or something that was going to happen where it was going to make this sell off. And sure enough, they gave us a downgrade. I don't even know what the downgrade was for. I did see that the guy was pretty high ranked, so that probably gave it more validity. But still, it's kind of a joke because just looking at the chart, they did that only because they're trying to get it to sell off for the C wave. So anyway, very interesting. But from right here, my strategy from here on out is basically just dollar cost averaging. I bought some shares today. I don't know where it's in the bottom either. I'm not going to try to nail the bottom. I think that since we're going to 20, averaging in is the best bet. I'll keep it kind of light up here. And then if we get down here, I'll do bigger buys, obviously. So, not a good day. And we did fill that gap at 896. Now we created another gap here at 954. If we bounce, that will be a spot that I'd be looking for to bounce to eventually. And really where you want to be looking at now is we went through this demand zone right here. So I'm going to remove that. There's 3 demand zones from here, all in the daily time frame. We can look real quick at weekly and see if there's anything to watch. There's nothing on the weekly except for this down here, but we're not going to go down to that one. So I'm not even going to look at weekly anymore. On the daily time frame, though, you can see here we have a daily demand zone starting at 811, going all the way down here to 783. That's going to be the next target. I think there's a gap there too. No, there's no gap. So that's the next target for me. After that, I would probably expect a bounce. If it doesn't bounce there, you're looking down here at 742 to 709. And after that, the big demand zone here at 604 to 530. The minimum target actually got hit today, and that was the 0.61 fib. And so I'm looking for anywhere between the 0.61 fib all the way down here to 565. I would go over the waves on the smaller time frames, but I think it's actually pretty hard to figure out exactly what this is doing, because a lot of the waves are ending up being extensions, which means they can go 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the 5th wave can be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this can continue to extend down and not even give you a chance to reload puts, to do any of that stuff. And I kind of expect that just based on what happened right here. You can see in August, 1166 straight down to 784. Look how many bounces we got. We literally had no bounces. So I'm expecting that same thing to happen. So if you have puts, you probably want to hold those until we get down here to one of these demand zones. And notice too that we bottomed here in the August sell-off as well. So that's a pretty good spot right there. I'd be accumulating. Let's look at the moving averages real quick. 20, 50, and 200. We're below the 20, obviously. We are above the 50, above the 200. Next spot is right around $8. 50-day moving average right into demand. I'd probably be buying there. And then I really expect this to hold the 200 DMA. So if it doesn't hold the 200 DMA, that would be kind of interesting because of the fact that we've been above that basically the whole time since May. Since that big move higher, we stayed below it for like 2 weeks, and then we're back above it. So I think the 200 DMA has got to be a strong hold just based on the fact that we have earnings at the end of the month. I can't imagine it going through the 200 DMA and then staying below the 200 DMA. So maybe it goes below it for a second down here in the low 7s and then bounces back. So I'm really thinking these demand zones are going to be pretty strong overall, but we'll see. Right now it's still bullish. You got the 20 above the 50, 50 above the 200. Everything looks good. I would expect a bounce probably down here at $8, and it could even be an ABC pattern too. You never know. Could get something like that. But I'm really expecting 5 waves. So look for anything between 708 and $8.13 to be the bottom, most likely, unless we get an extended market sell-off where the next demand zone is down here at 608, and the 1.61 fib of AB is actually down here at 563. So tough day, but honestly, I would just be dollar cost averaging here. You never know when this is going to bottom out. And again, we hit the minimum target today. That can be a C wave right there. This can be a C wave like that. So it's possible if the market were to go up from here, I don't think it's going to. That's possible to be the end of the second wave and we go to new highs. So that's pretty much it. Let's look at the weekly moving averages real quick and just see where we stand on that. Another clue of where this might be going. And again, right here we have the weekly 20 at 813. So you got a lot of support right around in this area, and then you have the 50 at 750. So $7 to $8 has a lot of support, and so I think it's going to be really hard to break $7. But we'll see what happens. So that's pretty much it. I didn't want to talk about how I nailed the top or anything like that. That was just what the fib was. That's why 1050 hit right into a supply zone, and that's why we're selling off. And the news came out right at the right time. Imagine that. Downgrade immediately when we get up here, downgrade, and now we're selling off for the C wave. So anyway, after this is over with, you can expect higher prices, and I'll show you one more time that we're likely going up here to $22 after this downtrend is over. Minimum of depending on where this ends at, let's just say it ends right there, minimum of $18. So another thing I've been doing too, or I'm going to start doing, is I'm accumulating 550 calls for 2025. And I'm just going to accumulate every 30, 40 cent drop, just accumulate, because the idea is if for some reason we're not all the way where I'm profitable in 2025, which is very, very unlikely, I can just exercise my calls and have more shares. So I'm buying those, and obviously I'm just dollar cost averaging into shares. So anyway, that's it. Leave me a comment. Tell me what you think. Where do you think we're going to bottom at? You think we're going to go down and break below this demand zone at 709? Do you think we bottom today? Or do you think we're going to have a massive sell-off and actually reach this demand zone and this gap fill here at like 550-ish? I don't think that's going to happen, but let me know in the comments what you think. Like, subscribe. I'll keep you updated here over the next couple of days.